I was often the only woman in the room, or if I wasn't the only one, I was close to the only one. Like there might be one or two other, and all of a sudden I blinked and there's amazing women all around me, and which is awesome to see. So there really has been a shift in more women getting into the field, and I think that one thing that has helped that happen is they see other women, being that first one in those positions, and they think maybe I could be that. That could be me.
Greetings and welcome to yet another Sounds of Solar podcast. I'm your host today, Christoph Brun. We have a very special show. We have a very special guest. It's Brenda Byers. Welcome from McCarthy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before we get into the deep dive of your background and everything that you do in the world of renewables, what's coming up for you? Like, do you have any plans, travel plans? I know you like to travel. Any trips coming up?
Yeah, I really love fall colors, so I plan on going probably to Montana to visit to see the larches as they're changing colors, and just spend some time hiking and stuff up there.
Yeah, usually outdoor trips when you
Yeah,
travel.
I tend to plan my trips around hiking and mountain adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there are those in Arizona, right?
Yes,
You have plenty of that.
Yep, I was just camping last weekend.
Where at?
In the Blue Range. It's in eastern Arizona.
Eastern, like where is that?
Kind of like close to New Mexico.
Okay, all right, sure. So a higher elevation, like New Mexico.
Yeah, it's where I was at was probably about 7,000 to 8,000 feet.
So it's not 100 degrees there, right?
Correct. Yeah, it was really nice.
Okay, sweet. I've never been out that way in Arizona.
It's really nice. It's pretty remote, so it's not that easy to get to, but it's really pretty.
Is it like a backpack in type camping?
You
situation?
can definitely do that.
Yeah.
I didn't this past weekend, but there's definitely lots of places to backpack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been known to do some hiking and backpacking myself, so.
Yeah, you have to let me know next time you're in Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. I love going to Arizona, especially like once a year, at least in the March.
In the winter, yeah.
Yeah. Prahalad, what about you? What are you doing coming up?
What am I doing? I would like to hike, so maybe I can go to Duluth and then do some hiking in the.
It is the time of the year for it there.
But the main thing I'm excited about is a trip. My wife and I are gonna do a trip to Canada. We're gonna meet our cousins who just gave birth to their daughters. So it'll be fun to go and spend some time there. So that's what we're excited about, and hopefully we can squeeze in like some hiking there in Canada. So we'll see.
Okay,
so that's pretty much.
Sheridan.
I also love hiking, and I'm gonna. We all love hiking.
Let's do a hiking trip.
I think I'm also gonna try to plan a trip to see the fall colors somewhere. If anything, I'll just go up north to Duluth.
Yeah,
that's always a classic. But otherwise, I have a trip planned to see my sister out in Wyoming. Nice. So awesome. I'll be going there pretty soon here. So, and my mom lives out there too, so lots of family out there.
Look at that.
You look at that.
Well, I don't know which direction to take it now. Should we talk about hiking or probably hiking, right?
Yeah, how deep can we go on this?
Yeah, exactly. So Brenda, this is also your first time in Minnesota.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
What other states have you not been to? Or is it a long list? Too long of a list?
I mean, I don't have it memorized, but yeah, there's some of these like what I call cold northern states that I haven't been to. Like the Dakotas, I've been there. I think I haven't been to Maine.
Yeah, I would like to go to Maine.
I would like to go to Maine too. I have to admit, the Dakotas aren't on my list, but
the Black Hills is
That's
in
true.
South Dakota.
Yeah, I have heard that those are nice.
Yeah.
We'll see if I make it out there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a handful of states I haven't been to yet, but.
And later, so you came in like an hour ago?
Yeah, a couple hours.
So you're here in Minnesota the first time, and then in a little bit, we're going to be leaving to go to the EVS cabin.
Super excited for
that. And so have you ever been to like a up north cabin type thing before?
In other states?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, not where there's 10,000 lakes, though.
Yes, exactly. This is one of them, Pelican Lake in Nisswa, Minnesota. So, I think it's going to be really cool. Check that out.
Yeah.
That's like the, Minnesota summer pastime. Everyone's going to the cabin in the summer, so
it looks really fun. I'm excited.
It should be
for
good. You got to try riding the e-foil.
That thing looks terrifying.
It is. No spoiler, it is. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Really hard to like get up on it and stay up, but
Seems like you're either kind of bad at it or really good at it. There's
Yeah.
no in
I
between.
think I would fall on the really bad side.
We
Low
shall
chance
see.
that I would be good.
Most
Yeah.
people do.
So what? Okay, so there's the e-foiling. Is that the one that it like goes up in the air? And there's one other on the list. What was the other one called?
Well, I know what you're talking about, and it's not coming to me.
They look kind of they look to
Yeah.
be kind of similar. I didn't know which one was which, but
Yeah.
I figured they both look terrifying.
They're both very dangerous. Yes,
Yeah.
high probability of injury. So yeah.
Yeah.
So Brenda, tell us about what do you do? Who are you? What is it that you do, and how did you arrive at this point in your career?
Yeah. You want my background story?
Yeah, I
or-
think if I went to your wiki page and like clicked on origin story,
Uh-huh.
what would that say?
Hopefully there's not a wiki page out there, but
We can make one.
Sure. Yeah. So I got my bachelor's degree in math, mostly just because I was good at math and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was a little bit just kind of in the working environment after that. I was an aerospace engineer. It wasn't something I was passionate about.
What
It
did you
was
do in aerospace?
Aerospace. I was a mass properties engineer.
Did you work with these stress engineers by chance?
I did work with stress
That's
engineers.
what I started my career
Really?
doing. Yeah.
In aerospace?
Yes.
I think we've had this conversation briefly.
Yes.
I don't think we went into detail on it,
Yeah.
but yeah, that does ring a bell.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I was in mass properties, which is weight and balance for folks that don't know. I just wasn't passionate about it, so I found myself pretty bored and not challenged. So
You
I
didn't
was,
come in with an aerospace background, right?
no.
So did you have the same realization I had? And it was like everyone loves airplanes to the nth degree,
They do,
and it's like,
except for us.
oh, well, I guess I missed the memo on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. And I actually, my dad worked in the aerospace industry growing up, and I always told myself I would never work in that industry.
So-
It was pretty unstable. Like he always just was getting laid off
Feast
a
or
lot,
famine.
and so that was just not an environment I wanted. But more so, I just didn't enjoy the work. Like
Yeah.
I just I felt unchallenged and just a little bit bored. So I was definitely looking for something that I could be more passionate about and really like fulfilling. And then I think it was 2010, the BP oil spill happened. And that really kind of pulled my heartstrings in the direction of I wanted to do something that made the environment a better place. So I enrolled in a master's program at Arizona State University that specialized in solar. It's called Solar Energy Engineering and Commercialization, which is a mouthful.
Yeah.
But it was about 70% engineering focused and 30% or so business and policy focused.
And
So
this program existed in back in the-
2010, yeah. I was
What?
it actually
crazy, yeah.
started in 2010, so I was the second cohort to go through it.
Were you already in Arizona at the time, or is that what brought you to Arizona?
It brought me back to Arizona.
Okay.
I have family in Arizona, and I was actually born in Arizona, but I was raised in Kansas. So this brought me back to Arizona.
Okay. I'm really jealous. I wish I would have known about this
Yeah.
program in 2010 when
No,
I
as soon
was
as
like,
she said that, I was like, wow, in 2010?
Yeah.
Solar? That's,
What?
Yeah, it
that's
was a
crazy.
really great program. I enjoyed it and just had a lot of great experiences and
yeah.
got us connected to the industry in a really great way.
So after you did that, what was next?
So I interned at First Solar while I was in that program. I was in that program for a year, and I worked at First Solar for about 5 to 6 years. At the time, First Solar was a fully integrated utility scale solar company.
Yep.
So that just meant they were manufacturing the modules, everything from the very
Yes.
beginning to the end, manufacturing modules, doing the development work, doing the engineering, procurement, construction, the EPC work, and then doing the O&M. So that's, they don't really have fully vertically integrated solar companies these days, but back then that was one
That's
of
kind
them.
of how you had to do it, probably.
That was their approach to really get their modules out on the market, which
Right.
was a successful approach.
Yeah.
And at that time. So yeah, I was on the utility scale solar side, primarily working on the development and like pre-EPC phase of it, working and just doing kind of like preliminary design work.
Yep.
Just setting up for everything that you need to for development. I had the chance to work several years in Africa during that, which was a really special
Like you were
experience.
over there continuously?
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of traveling back and forth, but
sure.
I had an apartment over there.
Where were you at in Africa?
I was in Cape Town. which
Yeah.
is a beautiful
wow.
city.
Oh,
South-
Yeah,
amazing.
beautiful city.
So, okay, Cape Town, and then you did what?
So in 2016, I joined McCarthy,
Mm-hmm.
my forever company, as I like
Yep.
to call it. And I've been in the pre-construction side my whole career at McCarthy. I've been at McCarthy for 9 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I've had a really great opportunity to get more involvement and understanding exposure to the construction aspect, which has been really great. And it's really helped just kind of pull that knowledge and understanding into the planning and the design side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been at McCarthy ever since. I've been in the solar industry now for 14 years.
That is like super
That's
veteran
fast.
status.
Yeah.
Like you're like a platinum card member
Yeah,
right now.
sometimes me and some of my other peers that have been around for a long time, we get referred to as the OG. And I was asking, like, do you know that people call us the OG around here? It's kind of ironic because I don't know.
Yeah,
Never really thought I'd be in that position, but
that's how it is.
yeah, you
Hey,
just,
when you get in early.
yep.
Yeah, exactly. So how would you characterize especially like your time in McCarthy, let's say 2016 solar to 2025? Like, can you put that into words?
There's a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, I guess. The differences, I mean, the industry has grown a lot since 2016. There's a lot more projects. The average project size is a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
While there were definitely large projects out there before 2016, I'd say in 2016 the average project size was kind of like 20 to 60 megawatts.
Mm-hmm.
60 being like, okay, that's a good size.
That's a big
If
one.
if there was like over 100, it was like a mega job.
Yeah.
And now hardly anybody bats an eye at less than 100 megawatts. So
Yeah.
the project size have just completely changed. It's just they're humongous projects in
Mhm.
comparison. Some of the similarities are that it's still very dynamic. There's still a lot of changes that coming down from policy, and just kind of navigating that. So we always kind of go through these waves, and it just where you're at in the wave.
Mhm.
It always has a little bit of similarity, like feeling to it. But so yeah, I'd say like we're just navigating new changes in policy.
Yeah.
Like back in 2016, there were tariffs. There's tariffs again.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of similarities, but differences at the same
Mhm.
time.
Pradi, she's speaking your language.
I know
Policy.
tariffs and policy. Yeah,
Yeah.
policy dictating everything. So, quick question on 2016 and now. Like, what's the average that you're seeing project size wise now? Like, is it 200 megawatt? We typically see 200. Is
Yeah,
that like
2
the
to
average?
300 megawatts. I'd say 100 again is on the small end,
Okay.
and then 800, 900 megawatts on the larger end.
Wow.
But yeah, 2 to 400 megawatts is probably about average these days.
Okay.
So, what is your job now? What is your title now?
So I'm VP of Design Management at McCarthy. I oversee our design management team, our SWIP and vegetation team, and a crew-focused design team, which
Mhm.
we kind of refer to as CFD for short.
Yep.
So our design management team.
Different than CFD in aerospace.
Yes, yes.
Because every time I hear CFD, I'm like, oh, computational fluid dynamics.
That's funny. I definitely pushed out those acronyms from my brain. I only have capacity
new
for the
ones.
solar acronyms.
Yes.
Yeah, that alphabet. So we actually give our new hires like an index of the acronyms that we
So
use
do
in our
we.
industry because
Yeah.
they're always like, oh my gosh,
That's a
what
lot.
are all these acronyms that you're throwing
Yeah.
us? We love our acronyms in
Yeah.
solar. But anyway, so the CFD team is part of my group as well. Our design management team, a lot of you all know those individuals on my group. They work with our engineers. They really oversee the design effort and coordinating all the different scopes to make sure that we're staying on schedule, on budget, that we're designing for safety, that just all things design, that they're really running point on that. Our SWIP and vegetation team help us essentially grow grass and vegetation on our sites and make sure that we're not doing anything that's going to get us in trouble or have runoff discharge. And then our crew-focused design team help us. They're kind of a bridge between design and engineering, design and construction. They're helping us take the designs that you and our other engineering partners give us, and where there's things like means and methods that's contractor specific. They're helping us drive consistency and quality and accuracy by providing consistent details to the field teams. If there's drawings that aren't as easy to understand by the ops team that are installing it, they'll provide like 3D models and things like that to help make it really easy for the field teams to know, all right, this is exactly what it should look like. And so it doesn't really leave that room for interpretation. And then we don't have to have the same lessons learned on each project. So so those are the groups that I directly oversee.
And so like a given day is just what do you do at a given day? I mean, that sounds like a lot to keep track of.
Well, I spend most of my time working with people,
Yeah.
leading people. So I have just a lot of meetings where I'm talking to our folks. I mean, every day looks very different, which is one of the things I love about solar. And I think that's been a theme throughout my career in solar, is that no day looks the same. So one moment I might be, having a one-on-one with an employee. The next moment I might be working with an owner on a contract. The other, I'm working with the engineering firm on, best practices, trying to come up with new parts of our design system, new processes. So it's very fluid, very dynamic. I have no standard day, I guess. But definitely a lot of people conversations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the role of leadership, right? Is you have to communicate your messaging to people. So they can...
and help them grow and learn and understand what their goals in life are and in their career, and trying to run the business while also helping the individuals succeed. So trying to find that balance.
Right on. So you are the VP of design. I think of our industry as like a very forward-thinking, progressive industry generally, of course. Can you talk a little bit about your path as being a female in leadership?
Some of the myths that also people might think going into this industry and why they may or may not be true.
Sure. I'll break it up into the good, the bad, the ugly. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm going to do it in reverse order because I want to end on the positive note on the question.
Yes.
I mean, so I think my experience as a woman in this industry and as a leader is probably not too different than other women that are in a similar spot. And in general, some of these experiences are just experiences that women have for being a woman, regardless of what industry we work in. So what I would call the ugly part of it is just some of those just general women experiences, which you probably can relate to. I mean, things like being catcalled, being called honey or sweetie or baby, asking men to stop doing that, and it continues anyways. Being inappropriate, like messaged inappropriately, just kind of dealing with that kind of stuff is always uncomfortable, but having it happen in any kind of professional setting is obviously that much more uncomfortable. So that would be what I would call the ugly part of it.
How has that changed throughout your career?
I would say that things like the Me Too movement have really opened the society's eyes to what women face on a daily basis. You walk into the gas station, it's a whole different experience. For me to walk into the gas station versus for Chris to walk into the gas station, I'm probably like really scanning to see like who's all there. Is there going to be someone that could grab me or make my situation unsafe? It's just a constant,
your head's on a swivel.
Yeah. And I think in general, while I'm not trying to pretend like the world's this amazingly safe spot for women, I do think that awareness and those discussions that have happened, over the past however many years have really, opened up everyone's eyes to it and helps reduce that some. And it still exists, obviously, but I do think that has greatly improved. Also, throughout like my own experience, like from a professional standpoint, I think I found a really great company to work for. People have really open conversations. They want to make sure that it's a safe environment for everybody. So just finding a company that really provides that respectful environment for women, I think has also helped in my case specifically. But at a like more high level or like bird's eye view from anybody's standpoint, I do think that those conversations have helped reduce that kind of experience for women. Just they're still out there.
Yeah. I think going into it, because there was a lot of female empowerment over the last 5 to 10 years, and I started at this company about 4 years ago. I think going into it, I noticed that it's just a lot less taboo for women to be in engineering in general. and that it's just getting more common, and that it's just not really like looked at as surprising anymore, which is good.
Yeah, I agree.
And, I can imagine 10, 15, 20 years ago that would be a lot different, and there would have to be a lot more pushing through some of the experiences,
For
some of the
sure.
bad experiences that you might have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started and for the first long time, of me being in my career, I was often the only woman in the room. Or if I wasn't the only one, I was close to the only one. Like there might be one or two other, but generally kind of the only woman in the room. And all of a sudden I blinked and there's amazing women all around me, and which is awesome to see. So there really has been a shift in more women getting into the field. And I think that, one thing that has helped that happen is they see other women, being that first one in those positions, and they think, well, maybe I could be that. That could be me. So and they've also got those mentors that they can reach out to and say, how did this work for you? How did you get to this spot? So I think the younger generation sees, women being able to get to those roles, and it empowers them, and it helps kind of break the ceiling open for them.
Totally.
That's exactly what happened to me. I asked a lot of questions when I was in college, and just kind of getting everybody's experiences, and helped it just be a little less intimidating.
Talking about mentors, was there a mentor who helped you during your period here at McCarthy? Anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Anything that you can take from them, share with us?
I've definitely had lots of mentors throughout my time, at all of the companies that I've worked at really. At McCarthy, I have so many. There's a handful of women in higher up positions. Antonia Williams, shout out to Antonia if she listens to this. She's been a great just role model for me. She's always held high levels at our company. Right now, she's our our chief strategic officer, strategy officer, and just kind of seeing how she can lead a crowd and get people motivated. That's been something that I've just really admired about her, and I've been grateful enough that she's willing to give me time of hers and spend time with me and talk through different instances and just help guide me through. So from a women mentorship standpoint, she's been really great for me. And then again, lots of men in my career that have been mentors and just great leaders as well. Scott Canada, who has been our president of the renewables business unit for a long time, he just transferred over to our mission critical business unit. But Scott's always been a great advocate for me, and just kind of watching how he cheerleads for people has been really great. So he's been a cheerleader for me, but he's also just in general, he's our cheerleader. And I've been able to learn a lot from him on just my leadership style. But so many more, like with our operations teams, our senior VP ops are also really great mentors. So Matt McMullen, Dan Brown, Justin Peterson, just a really great set of guys with really strong construction experience that really understand solar. And I've been able to learn a ton from them. But really the list goes on and on and on. I think mentorship is really important, and it, finding that natural connection where you can trust someone, learn from someone, ask for their feedback. They'll give you transparent, like real life feedback. That's really important, I think, for anybody's success.
No, definitely.
Seems like the common theme too was just positive and uplifting, just people that can make people motivated.
Yep.
Seems like a good mentor
For sure.
to look for.
Yeah, and that trust piece, definitely. Like, I think people need to have a someone that they can confide in, if they're trying to navigate a situation, not to just vent and complain, just not to get that, what do you call it when everyone starts venting about the same thing or whatever?
Gossiping?
There's a different word for it. But it's not just, not just to get somebody on your side, not just to vent to see if they'll vent with you.
I know what you mean, yeah.
But you have to have that safe space so you can kind of talk it out and just be able to kind of get it out. And they might tell you you're like completely wrong, but you have to have that space to be able to confide in somebody. I think that's really super important.
Yeah, work and career is not black and white. It's always gray, and it's like a learning experience for everyone. You need people that you can trust and go to.
Yep.
You left us hanging. There's the bad.
I was going to go back to that if you didn't.
Oh yeah. What's the bad?
So the bad, which I would just more kind of categorize as challenging,
Yeah.
is the double standard that I think I've faced, and I think a lot of women face, especially in leadership positions. Like a man can give direct, specific feedback, and he's labeled as a respected, charismatic leader. A woman can give the exact same feedback, and she's labeled as aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a dynamic that I've worked with or dealt with a lot. And men sometimes can deal with the same kind of challenges. It's not only women that can experience the double standard, but the amount of times that have experienced it and seen it with other women, there's, it's a clear night and day difference of men don't experience quite the same, or at least not near as often. So that double standard has been hard because it's one, kind of gets frustrating. Two, it's just, how do you navigate it? How do you be
How do
a
you
good
change your
leader? Yeah,
messaging?
you have
Yeah.
to be specific. You need to communicate these things, but trying to do it in a way where it's perceived, right, and it doesn't kind of just get dismissed just because you're a woman.
Yeah. Do you
So-
think, like, on the flip side, there are like examples of like the example you offered, is there the flip side of that where it's like women are better at messaging in some aspects or anything like that?
It's obviously very specific to the individual, but I think some of the, empathy characteristics, or just kind of having an understanding of what women face, can help women be maybe more mindful of what other minorities might face, just how to approach diversity in the workplace. So I think there's some things that, being a woman can make someone more lean towards having certain characteristics that make a good leader. But overall, I'd say it's not like a woman is automatically going to be a better leader in this sense or that sense. Like I was mentioning, you mentioned Abby does a really great job communicating. I had mentioned Antonia Williams earlier. She's a phenomenal communicator. I strive to communicate like her. If she was on this podcast, it would be phenomenal, by the way.
Well, yeah, I'm sure we can arrange that.
Noted.
Get the media kit.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's like a necessarily like stereotype that works across the board on that.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, there's a lot of different qualities that go into a leader.
For sure.
Yeah. Some might have more than others, but doesn't really depend on gender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not always, at least.
I think the most important part is just having that balance. Like if the whole leadership team is male, then you probably don't you probably need some more women voices in there. Just I mean, having that diversity does actually bring a lot of good ideas and different trains of thought, and that's how we improve and grow and evolve, is by having that different forms of thought.
The echo chamber phenomenon is real.
Yeah.
And if you have all the same voice in a space, it will just continue to reverberate and it'll be the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah. So I think that blend is like really important. Like can't be all women, but it shouldn't be all men either.
Right.
Gotta have balance.
So the audience has some suspense. What is the good?
A couple parts of the good. One aspect is I have really loved just being able to pave that path for women. I mentor a lot of women. I coach a lot of women, and just seeing them, grow in their careers, navigate their situations. That's something I wouldn't be able to do in the same way as a man, because I wouldn't have that direct experience. So, well, I mean, I've been guided a lot by men. They have not really always understood my specific situation. So I can take everything I've learned from them, but also factor in my own experiences and how I've navigated them to help coach and train other women. And that's been really satisfying for me. I think that's one of my favorite parts of my career and of my job. So that's definitely like the hands down best part. I've also loved, honestly, just having those conversations with men too, and helping them understand what women face, some of the biases and stereotypes and just challenges that women face. Men aren't always aware of it, and having those conversations, bringing that awareness. I've had lots of times actually, where after I'm having a conversation that might seem uncomfortable for some, but after 1 to 2 men come up to me and say, "Hey, you really opened my eyes to this or that. I'd love to talk to you more about it and understand." And to me, that's some of the best parts too, because I feel like that's being able to make a difference for future women.
That's awesome. I feel like our industry is like the perfect place for all these conversations to happen too. So, so before we shift from that subject, is there any advice you would impart onto young females coming into the industry or into industry in general, working in general as a concept?
Absolutely. Find your advocates and advocate for yourself. I don't think women advocate for themselves enough. It's hard to do. It feels uncomfortable. It's not really like what society has trained us to do. It kind of breaks that mold, but it's really important that we advocate for ourselves. And then also find your advocates and lean on them, build those relationships, that network.
Mm-hmm.
It really is sometimes fake it till you make it type of situation, where even if you feel uncomfortable, just act like you don't. It's hard. It's easier said than done, but sometimes that really is what it is just push through it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you act like there's no issue or there's no weirdness or there's you're not uncomfortable, then other people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like advice for being on a podcast.
kind of.
Moving on swiftly. So let's talk about the future in the industry, trends, innovation, anything from your vantage point that you're seeing. Like, obviously you mentioned it earlier, we are in a policy upheaval again. So that surely will challenge us. What are you looking forward to in the next, year or so that's, you're watching closely?
Yeah. Well, if you haven't picked up on it already, I'm passionate about the environment. And so I've always, got a soft spot and a passion there. It's really exciting to me to see some of the innovations going on in that space. For example, we've been looking at, or we've been testing deploying drones with thermal cameras, and I won't get the technical name of that camera right, so I won't even try.
FLIR, is that the camera? Or no?
It might be. I'd have to pull. I have data sheets on it, so
Roddy's
I
the
could
tech guy.
pull those up. But we basically fly it and are scanning the site to see how much vegetation is on the site, and you can kind of get that from that thermal camera, and it's basically picking up like the vegetation versus roads or bare spots. It doesn't have the same heat absorbed into the ground, so you can pick up on that, which is a cool way because these are really large projects, hundreds if not 1,000 acres sometimes, and you can look at things from a bird's eye view, and it might look vegetated, and then you get out there and maybe it's not as vegetated as it looks.
Is this like pre-site development or like after we've built a site and it's
both actually?
vegetated?
Yeah,
okay,
the idea is to kind of scan it before and then scan it after to do that comparison.
Right.
That way we can also kind of like spot test it and make sure it's accurate the first time before trusting the second round of data. It just really gives us some confirmation or a certainty on. Again, we can't walk every single square inch of that site, but we want to make sure that we are really in a good spot to have this site fully vegetated. So finding ways to use technology to work through some of that and just get some better accuracy on our projects.
And for maintenance too, right? You can use those thermal cameras for hotspots and that kind of stuff. So
we definitely use that. Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep. I think the drone usage on projects has just really skyrocketed.
Totally.
We pretty much use it for so much these days. And also things like GIS we're expanding more and more on how we're using that, helping us shake out the project so we've got all the equipment in the right spot, not having to double handle it. I think there's always kind of things here and there that are advancing. But again, I've always got a soft spot for some of the things that are more environmentally focused.
Yeah.
It's also really cool to see some of the, not necessarily from a technological standpoint, but just some of the things that we're thinking about and factoring into the construction efforts. So, there's a lot of wildlife that either lived in this land or kind of passing through. And we want to make sure we're not disrupting their habitats. And so looking at things like, should we or can we have specific beehive areas where bees can come through? Because, sometimes you have beehives that are swarming and relocating. We've had one that ended up temporarily making its home on our torque tube.
Yeah.
And
It's not a bad spot to live, I
yeah,
guess.
I guess. Obviously, but we wanted to make sure the bees were safe and everyone working on the site was
Yeah.
safe. And that was a temporary kind of relocation, but that's something that the teams are looking at is how do we make sure that we're having that environment for the bees and for the pollinators, but also keeping our people safe. And then we've also had habitat for barn owls on a couple of our project sites to make sure that, again, that they've got habitat, that they're safe in a safe location, and not trying to maybe create a home in an inverter or something like crazy like that. So just trying to think like outside the box and not just looking at purely the construction operations, but what are some of the effects that it's having on the environment and on the community, and solving for those. They don't get as much attention because they're not, flashy dollar sign making money, but it's these are things that are just right things to do and make a difference on the environment. So
we've done a few shows on agrivoltaics in various capacities, and like it really feels like there is such
it's
limitless
there,
opportunities, right, to do stuff with that.
Yeah, dual use of the land as well. So how much of it is driven by you guys? How much of it is the owner of the land? Like
a lot of that's the owner of the land of what their like long-term plans are. They're not usually asking us to make those decisions. That's usually locked in or at least considered earlier on. We'll help give them pricing information or this and that to make evaluations, but that's an owner-driven decision for sure.
It was mentioned earlier, yes, policy upheaval period seems to happen a lot in solar, especially the last 8 to 9 years. Where we are right now, do you see this as just another blip in the radar? Is that the right term? I don't know. Is this just another thing that's happening, or is this really going to change our industry, like things that have been coming out of Washington and federal policy lately?
I don't think it changes our industry. I think this is just part of what our industry was already kind of navigating. It's just it is part of it. These ups and downs. Energy is such an impactful industry, so it's no question or it's no wonder that there's so much policy that drives it. So I don't see that policy is ever going to stop driving and influencing heavily our industry.
I think the biggest thing is the supply chain risks that you guys might be facing, right? Just from like getting these projects done and with policy kind of moving things around or maybe tariffs coming in, like navigating that part. Like, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes things bumpy. It definitely, creates sometimes more work for everybody. It's not like we just kind of, just no big deal. It creates extra work for sure. But this industry has really always gotten through those. And at the end of the day, solar is a really competitive energy source, and we need more and more power. Like this planet is not going to start using less power all of a sudden.
Not anytime soon.
No.
So, I mean, the need for this industry is there, and it's not going anywhere. It's just being able to be dynamic and adapt to these changes is really important. But there's always going to be policy influencing our industry. That's just never going to go away. So there's always just going to be the ebbs and flows and the ups and the downs. But the industry is definitely here to stay.
Yep.
And you talked earlier with one of your first experience, I believe it was First Solar, that there were a company that also manufactured the panels. Do you foresee that maybe becoming more common in the next few years with the tariffs and some of the new policies on overseas panels?
Just local
modules?
manufacturing?
Yeah.
That's always kind of been something that I think the industry is targeting. Obviously, we have had some manufacturing move over to the U.S., but it's not a huge amount. It's not enough to support our overall national needs of energy and solar energy. So I think that it'll continue to drive it, and we might see shifts here and there, but one of the challenges, it takes so long to get something like that up and running and to scale, and the administration changes kind of faster than that can get up and running. So I think that's one of the challenges that the industry has had around having as much full-blown manufacturing here compared to in other countries.
We need incentives to stay around for a little bit longer to actually get to that point, which I think I mean, I think billions of dollars have been canceled in clean manufacturing tech in the last, few months, which is unfortunate, but that's just the reality of how policy can work. And words are sometimes pretty powerful in action.
No, there's an appetite, I think, in the country to actually manufacture here. So I think I'm excited to see where it takes us. Some might fail, but I think at some point, something will come up, whether it's semiconductor manufacturing that's coming up now. So we'll see where it goes. It's fun.
I think that's probably about it. Any other things, thoughts, feelings?
I was going to add one more thing about the solar coaster.
Yeah.
I had heard this in one of our meetings internally at McCarthy. Someone had said, we've been on the solar coaster for a while and we've never fallen off. And I thought that was a good way to phrase it, especially, we've got a lot of young, newer people in the industry and I'm sure at EVS and at McCarthy. And for someone like myself that's been in this industry for a while, I know that it's going to have these ups and downs. So I'm not worried. I mean, again, it's good. We're going to have to work through it. It's not like you can just, roll out of bed. It's no big deal, but we will work through it. We've never fallen off the solar coaster. I thought that was a really great way to kind of think about it and phrase it for anybody that's new coming into the industry or newer in their careers and not certain where this is going to go or what's going to happen. There's ebbs and flows, and the industry has always come out on the other side successful.
Right. It's like when you get ratcheted up to the drop point on this roller coaster and you're like ratcheting, and then then it launches you. It's just a little higher every single time, probably.
Yep. And sometimes you can see those drops. You can see the falls or the curves. Sometimes you can't quite see it, and it's a little bit of a surprise. But it's a fast and furious. It's constantly changing, but it's fun too. So that's a good thing about the solar coaster.
That is very true. Yeah, I my last job was very much a wash, rinse, repeat type thing, and haven't had a lot of that here ever. So yeah, thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, policy changes just keep us on our toes. Gives us something new to solve every day. So.
All right, Brenda Byers from McCarthy, VP of Design. Thank you for being on the Sounds of Solar podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Do you have any final words? Usually I ask people what advice they would give to a younger engineer or whoever coming in the industry, but you already answered that, but I think you can take it again.
I could give more. I think the last one was specific to women, but more so like just anybody coming in. I think this industry is full of like, the go-getter type personality. For myself, like when I was first starting out, there's so much to learn. Everyone has this exponential learning curve. And so I was, just working as much as possible, trying to learn as much as possible, as fast as possible. And I did not do a good job setting boundaries. And I had a mentor and leader at the time, Mike Belikoff, who told me, make sure you set some boundaries. And, if you operate at this speed forever, that's just what they're going to expect because that's what they're used to.
Recipe for burnout, too. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And of course, I'm like, yeah, that's great advice, but I did not do it. I was like, yeah, but I'm trying to build a career over here.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you run at that pace forever, you will burn out. Everybody will burn out if they are not setting boundaries. And that doesn't mean that like we won't have a really long day or like a long week or a long month here and there. There's ebbs and flows. But there should be ebbs and flows. It can't be always at that like full pace marathon, sprint, whatever you want to call it, all the time. And it's really hard to recover from a burnout. So once you get to that burnout space, it's just so much harder to come back versus if you took the right measures to prevent the burnout to begin with. So that's what I tell people, especially if I can see that they're going to be kind of have that similar mindset as I did. It's important to set boundaries and do it early.
Yeah, it seems like also in this industry, because it's so new and forward thinking, that there's a lot more understanding and acceptance of boundaries and balance.
I agree. And I love that.
And on a lighter note, go for a hike. That'll help.
Yes,
it's true.
Go for a hike.
Go outside. See a bird.
Yes. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today on the Sounds of Solar podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember to do the thing you're supposed to do at the end, like send an email, a chain email with this link in it. People are going to recirculate it.
They're going to report it for phishing.
Yeah, we're phishing. No. Like, share, subscribe, share it to your industry friends in the solar renewable space. All those things, do that. It helps us grow the show. Until next time, I'm Christoph Brun. Thank you, Prahalad Shivshankran, Brenda Byers, Sheridan Henderson, all the folks back here, Jordan, Wallen, Alex.
And Christoph.
Yeah. We'll see you next time on the Sounds of Solar podcast.